Hi, welcome back to the Coin Studio. Imagine finding a coin in your drawer that's not just old pocket change, but a piece of history worth thousands of dollars. What if I told you that some Australian 50-cent coins, yes, the ones you've probably overlooked, could be hiding serious value? From silver treasures to rare high-grade gems, today we're counting down the top 10 most valuable Australian 50-cent coins you need to look out for. And number 1 might just shock you. Let's moving on. Number 10. The 2010 Australian 50 cent. Coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. Might appear like an everyday piece of pocket change to the untrained eye. But in the world of high-grade numismatics, it holds a unique place of interest among collectors. Struck by the Royal Australian Mint, this coin showcases the classic dodecagonal or 12-sided design that has become synonymous with Australia's 50-cent pieces since 1969. On the obverse, it features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, a portrait used on Australian coinage from 1999 to 2019. The reverse of the coin proudly displays the Australian coat of arms, encapsulating both the kangaroo and emu, flanking the shield that represents the 6 states of the Commonwealth of Australia. While this coin was released for general circulation and millions were minted, what elevates its collectability is the presence of coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS-67 or higher by third-party grading services such as PCGS or NGC. These coins are sought after not because of rarity and mintage, but due to their condition rarity, as only a tiny fraction have survived without even the slightest blemish, scratch, or mark. In such a high-grade state, the 2010 Australian 50-cent coin has fetched up to $9,500 AUD in past private sales and online auctions, particularly when accompanied by official grading certification. Collectors prize these pieces for typesets, year-specific collections, or modern Australian coin displays. It serves as a reminder that even recent coins can have notable market value when preserved in immaculate condition, further proving that coin collecting isn't always about age. It's often about preservation, eye appeal, and grade. Number 9. The 1999 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, is an exceptional example of how a relatively modern coin can become a coveted collectible when preserved in the finest condition. This coin continues the legacy of the dodecagonal shape and is part of the standard circulation issues by the Royal Australian Mint. On the obverse, the Ian Rank Broadley portrait of Queen Elizabeth II made its debut in 1999, marking a transition from the previous Raphael Makhlouf effigy. That detail alone adds historical significance to this year's coin, as it introduced a sharper, more realistic representation of Her Majesty that remained in use for 2 decades. The reverse maintains the traditional Australian coat of arms with its richly detailed emu and kangaroo. Though over 18 million of these coins were produced, the number of surviving examples in superb, uncirculated condition, especially those certified MS-67 and above, is exceedingly small. Graders and collectors alike look for razor-sharp strikes, full mint luster, and surfaces free from contact marks or dulling. Coins that meet this elite standard become hot commodities at numismatic auctions and within private sales. In one recorded transaction, a 1999 Australian 50-cent coin graded MS-67 by PCGS achieved a sale price of $11,000 AUD, making it an incredible return for a coin just over 2 decades old. The desirability of this piece is bolstered by its position as the first year of the Rank Broadley obverse, making it a key year in any modern coinage set. It's not just about the grade, it's about the story behind the coin, its position in the evolution of Australian coin portraits, and the rarity of finding such a recent release in near-perfect condition. For collectors focusing on modern-era coins, this 1999 high-grade specimen represents an essential acquisition. Number 8. The 1983 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, is a classic specimen from the early 1980s that holds both historical and collector interest. Struck by the Royal Australian Mint in the traditional 12-sided dodecagonal shape, this coin bears the distinguished effigy of Queen Elizabeth II sculpted by Arnold Machine, a portrait that graced Australian coinage from 1966 to 1984. On the reverse, it continues to display the detailed Australian coat of arms, a symbol of national unity, crowned by the Commonwealth Star and flanked by the emu and kangaroo, two iconic native animals. The 1983 issue had a mintage exceeding 19 million coins, so finding circulated examples is relatively easy. However, the real challenge, and the source of true collector value, lies in locating coins that have survived in immaculate, mint state condition. Coins graded MS-67 or above are particularly scarce due to the normal wear and tear of circulation over more than 4 decades. These high-grade specimens are distinguished by their crisp strike, brilliant luster, and unmarked fields. For seasoned collectors aiming to complete a full-year set or build a collection of Queen Elizabeth II coinage in superb quality, this year is a must-have. In a top-tier certified grade such as MS-67, the 1983 Australian 50 cent coin has reached a market value of up to $3,500 AUD in verified auction listings and private numismatic transactions. The increasing interest in coins from this era, coupled with a dwindling supply of well-preserved pieces, has elevated its importance in the modern numismatic landscape. This coin serves not only as currency of its time, but as a snapshot of Australia's evolving coinage and the artistry that defined a generation. Number 7. The 1980 Australian 50 cent coin bearing the likeness of Queen Elizabeth II stands out as a significant collectible from the dawn of the 1980s, an era where design, minting quality, and national symbolism continued to evolve within the Royal Australian Mint's production. This coin was struck with the iconic 12-sided dodecagonal format, a shape that distinguishes it easily from round coinage and adds to its visual appeal. The obverse of the coin features the Arnold Machine portrait of Her Majesty, characterized by a youthful profile wearing the tiara, a design that evokes both regal dignity and historical continuity. On the reverse, as with standard issues of the denomination, the Australian coat of arms takes center stage, finely detailed and deeply struck, making the 50 cent coin one of the most intricate and symbolic pieces in circulation. Over 23 million examples of the 1980 edition were minted, making it common in circulated condition. However, uncirculated and especially third-party, graded pieces in mint state, particularly MS-67 or better, are far less common. These coins exhibit mirror-like fields, sharply defined devices, and untouched surfaces, making them visually stunning. In the collector's market, a high-grade 1980 Australian 50 cent coin has been known to command prices up to $15,000 AUD, especially when accompanied by certification from a reputable grading authority like PCGS or NGC. Collectors value this coin not only for its scarcity and top condition, but also because it represents a solid entry from a decade that is increasingly attracting numismatic attention. For those assembling date runs or condition-specific sets, this coin is a standout, particularly in pristine form. It embodies the craftsmanship and national identity of its time, and continues to grow in value as high-grade. Examples become harder to source from a shrinking pool of original mint rolls and collections. Number 6. The 1977 Australian 50 cent coin commemorating Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee is one of the most historically significant and visually striking decimal coins issued by the Royal Australian Mint. This commemorative release was struck to honor the 25th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's accession to the throne, marking a quarter-century of royal service since her coronation in 1952. Departing from the standard coat of arms reverse design, this special edition features a stylized design of Queen Elizabeth II's monogram, T-shirt surmounted by a crown, surrounded by a radiating pattern of lines that symbolize the continuity and reach of the monarchy. This bold and artistic reverse, created by Stuart Devlin, instantly set the coin apart from regular issues and made it an enduring symbol of the Silver Jubilee celebration within Australia. The obverse of the coin retained the classic Arnold machine portrait of Her Majesty, reflecting the consistency in royal representation during this era. Despite a mintage of around 25 million coins, which ensured widespread distribution and public recognition, very few have survived in pristine, high-grade condition after nearly 5 decades. Most circulated examples today show clear signs of wear, dulling, and scratches, natural consequences of circulation and handling. However, coins that were carefully stored in mint sets, presentation folders, or preserved in original rolls have emerged in immaculate condition over time. It is among these preserved examples that collectors hunt for the elusive top-grade coins, especially those graded MS67 or higher. These coins exhibit sharp definition in the crown and lettering, flawless fields, and full mint brilliance, traits that are extremely difficult to maintain over such a long span of time. The unique historical context of this coin, combined with its limited one-year design and increasing collector demand for royal commemoratives, have driven up values in recent years. In the numismatic market, a top-grade 1977 Silver Jubilee 50-cent coin has reached up to $18,000 AUD in past auction records and private sales, particularly when certified by trusted grading organizations like PCGS or NGC. It has become a cornerstone of any comprehensive Australian decimal coin collection, representing not just a moment in royal history, but also a high point in Australian coin design. With the passage of time, the coin's cultural significance continues to grow, and its presence in high-grade collections only adds depth, prestige, and historical resonance to any set it joins. Number 5. The 1976 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II may, at first glance, appear like a typical decimal coin of the era. But for serious collectors and historians of Australian coinage, this year's issue offers more than meets the eye. This piece was struck by the Royal Australian Mint during a period when Australia was deeply rooted in its identity as a constitutional monarchy, yet it was also experiencing a decade of rapid social and economic transformation. The coin's 12-sided dodecagonal shape, first introduced in 1969, gave it a distinctive feel and look that distinguished it immediately from round coins in circulation. This unique geometry, paired with the large size and 15.55-gram weight, made it one of the most substantial and tactile coins in everyday Australian commerce. On the obverse, the coin features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machine, a design that emphasized youth and poise, portraying the Queen in tiara with regal simplicity and elegance. This portrait had become a familiar fixture by 1976, but its precise details, such as the rendering of the hair, facial contours, and crown, are especially prized by collectors when preserved in sharp, unblemished condition. On the reverse, the coin displays the classic Australian coat of arms with intricate detailing, including the emu and kangaroo standing guard over the shield, each element representing a different state of the Commonwealth. Stuart Devlin's design remains one of the most intricate and symbolically rich designs ever featured on Australian coinage. The mintage of the 1976 50-cent coin was over 20 million, placing it in the realm of common circulation. However, as with many coins from the mid-1970s, the attrition rate in circulated grades has been high. Most coins today exhibit moderate to heavy wear, toning, scratches, and contact marks. The real value lies in the select few examples that have survived untouched in mint rolls, proof-like strikes, or uncirculated sets. Coins that achieve the coveted MS67 or even MS68 grades are incredibly rare and command strong premiums in today's market. These specimens showcase blinding luster, crisp edge definition, and flawless surfaces, a combination that is both visually appealing and numismatically scarce. In the collector space, a certified MS-67, 1976 Australian 50 cent coin is fetched as much as 2,000 IUD, reflecting not only its scarcity in top grade, but also its importance within a complete Australian decimal series. Collectors building year-by-year sets, or assembling type sets by monarch or designer, often struggle to find this coin in top condition. Its survival in such condition is a testament to careful preservation and lucky storage. For those who value the intersection of art, history, and monetary heritage, the 1976 issue represents a brilliant example of post-decimal Australian coinage that continues to rise in prominence as the years pass and pristine specimens grow ever more elusive. Number 4. The 1975 Australian 50 cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is an iconic piece of mid-1970s Australian coinage that embodies both the enduring heritage of the monarchy and the maturing sophistication of the Royal Australian Mint's production techniques during that era. By 1975, the 50-cent coin had firmly established itself as one of the most substantial and visually impressive coins in Australian pockets. It retained the dodecagonal, 12-sided shape introduced in 1969, a form that gave it immediate recognition and a distinctive tactile feel. This bold geometry, combined with its generous size and weight, has long made the 50-cent coin a favorite among collectors and everyday Australians alike. The obverse of the 1975 coin displays the elegant and youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Masson, a regal image that had become a familiar sight since the decimal changeover in 1966. The tiara, delicate facial features, and soft contours of the design reflect the reverence with which Australia treated its ties to the Commonwealth during that period. On the reverse side, the coin features the Australian coat of arms, meticulously designed by the renowned goldsmith and artist Stuart Devlin. The emblem includes the Commonwealth Star, Shield, and national animals, the emu and kangaroo, each rendered in intricate detail. Even after decades, the fine craftsmanship of this design continues to inspire admiration from collectors and historians alike. Although over 13 million 50-cent coins were struck in 1975, the vast majority entered general circulation and have since suffered the predictable effects of handling, scratches, dulling, loss of mint luster, and edge wear. What elevates the 1975 issue to a higher realm of collectability is its scarcity in gem mint condition. Only a minuscule portion of the original mintage remains in uncirculated states, and fewer still have been professionally graded and preserved at the highest levels. Coins that achieve MS-67 and above are the true gems of the market, specimens that display radiant luster, razor-sharp details, and immaculate fields with no signs of contact or wear. These top-grade examples have become increasingly difficult to locate, with interest in vintage Australian decimal coins growing year by year in the competitive numismatic market. High-grade certified examples of the 1975 Australian 50-cent coin have sold for as much as $22,000 AUD, a value that reflects both the difficulty in sourcing pristine pieces and the growing enthusiasm for building complete high-grade year sets. For collectors with an eye toward historical continuity, numismatic elegance, and market performance, the 1975 issue represents a crucial link in the series, an often overlooked treasure from the golden era of post-decimal Australian coinage that continues to impress with its combination of artistry, history, and rarity in top condition. Number 3. The 1971 Australian 50 cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a standout example of early decimal-era numismatics, representing a time when Australia was still adjusting to its relatively new decimal currency system introduced just 5 years earlier. The 1971 issue continued the standard design features of the series, while carrying with it all the subtle variations, minting challenges, and historical context that make this particular year especially interesting to collectors. The coin maintains the dodecagonal shape that defines the Australian 50-cent piece, a bold departure from traditional, round coinage that has since become one of its most beloved traits. Its weighty feel and large surface area offer a generous canvas for artistic detail, something this issue uses to its full advantage. On the obverse, the coin bears the classic Arnold machine portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which by 1971 had become an established image, symbolizing both the dignity of the monarchy and the youthfulness of the Queen during her early reign. The fine lines of the tiara, the soft rendering of facial features, and the clean, open fields surrounding the portrait all serve to elevate the coin's visual appeal, especially when preserved in high grades. The reverse features the traditional Australian coat of arms, once again brought to life by Stuart Devlin's masterful design. Every feather of the emu, every strand of the kangaroo's fur, and each detail within the shield is crisply executed on coins that have not been dulled by circulation. When struck well and preserved carefully, the 1971 coin becomes a work of numismatic art, a snapshot of Australian identity, cast in copper-nickel. Although more than 14 million of these coins were minted in 1971, they have not survived in high-grade condition in significant numbers. As the decades have passed, the attrition rate for this issue has been considerable, with most examples in the marketplace today showing the common signs of heavy wear, toning, and circulation damage. The challenge for modern collectors lies in finding pieces that remain virtually untouched, coins with radiant luster, a strong strike, and surfaces devoid of nicks or abrasions. These are the examples that grading agencies consider MS67 or higher, and they are exceptionally rare. In terms of market value, a 1971 Australian 50-cent coin in certified MS67 condition has sold for as much as 26,000 RAUD, thanks to its combination of vintage charm, rarity in high grades, and a growing base of collectors focused on pre-1980 Australian decimal coins. The coin is often sought after by collectors aiming to build a full run of Queen Elizabeth II 50-cent pieces, and its presence in top condition can significantly elevate the quality and prestige of any collection. As time continues to pass and uncirculated examples become harder to source, the 1971 issue will only grow in value and significance, cementing its place as one of the most desirable mid-century Australian coins in the high-grade collector market. Number 2. The 1969 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, holds a uniquely historic place in the evolution of Australia's decimal coinage, as it marked the return of the denomination after a 3-year hiatus, following the public confusion and hoarding that surrounded the original round 1966 silver 50-cent coin. The Royal Australian Mint reintroduced the denomination in 1969, but this time with major design changes to differentiate it from similar-sized coins. Gone was the round, silver-clad shape. In its place emerged a striking dodecagonal or 12-sided coin that quickly became the new face of the Australian 50-cent piece. The 1969 release is thus the very first of the now iconic 12-sided design that continues to this day, making it a cornerstone of any serious Australian decimal collection. The obverse of the coin features the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Machine. This regal effigy, paired with a smooth matte background and detailed hair and crown, gives the coin a classic and elegant appearance. The reverse continues the theme of national identity with Stuart Devlin's masterfully rendered Australian coat of arms. The kangaroo and emu, both symbolic animals of the nation, flank the central shield representing Australia's 6 states. Devlin's design is not only artistic but symbolically rich, capturing the essence of Australian unity and heritage. What makes the 1969 coin particularly special is that it laid the groundwork for all future 50-cent coins in both form and theme. Despite a large mintage of over 14 million, the 1969 Australian 50-cent coin is remarkably difficult to find in pristine condition. Being the first year of the new shape, it entered heavy circulation and suffered extensive wear over the decades. Today, most examples show significant signs of handling, loss of luster, scratches, edge dings, and toning. As such, uncirculated specimens, especially those preserved in original mint sets or carefully stored since release, are in high demand. Coins that have been graded MS67 or higher by professional services are exceedingly rare and represent the absolute best that the issue has to offer. Market values for these high-grade examples reflect their status as both the first of the iconic dodecagonal series and a condition rarity. In private sales and competitive auctions, the 1969 Australian 50-cent coin has fetched up to $2,750 AUD when certified in MS67 condition. Collectors regard it not only as a crucial date in completing a year set, but also as a historic pivot point. The coin that revived a denomination, introduced an enduring shape, and symbolized the adaptability of Australia's coinage system. As the decades continue to roll by, this 1969 coin is only expected to rise in significance and scarcity, especially in top condition, solidifying its place as one of the most valuable non-commemorative 50-cent coins in Australian numismatic history. Number 1. The 1966 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, often referred to simply as the round 50 cent, holds a legendary status in Australian numismatics. As the very first 50-cent coin issued following the transition to decimal currency in February 1966, it was minted for just 1 year and then withdrawn from general circulation due to the sharp rise in the value of silver. Struck in 80% silver and 20% copper, this coin contains approximately 0.3416 troy ounces of pure silver, making it not only historic in design but intrinsically valuable in composition. Unlike all subsequent 50-cent coins, the 1966 edition is perfectly round, making it easily distinguishable from the 12-sided cupronickel versions introduced 3 years later. Because of its unique shape, silver content, and extremely limited 1-year mintage, the 1966 round 50-cent coin is widely regarded as one of the most iconic, desirable, and valuable coins in Australian decimal coinage. The obverse features the classic Arnold Mason portrait of a youthful Queen Elizabeth II, radiating dignity and refinement. On the reverse is the same Australian coat of arms designed by Stuart Devlin, but due to the round shape and smooth edges, the full design spreads beautifully across the generous surface area. The emu and kangaroo appear especially well-defined in early strikes, with the fine lines of the Commonwealth star, the shield, and the surrounding flora demonstrating the mint's excellent craftsmanship. The diameter of the coin is slightly larger than current 50-cent coins, and it's weightier. Silver-clad feel lends it a sense of gravitas unmatched by any of its successors. Roughly 36.5 million of these coins were minted in 1966. However, as the price of silver surged above the coin's face value within just a few years, a vast number were withdrawn from circulation by the public, melted down, or hoarded for their bullion content. Today, the round 50 cent is seldom seen in day-to-day commerce, and most Australians recognize it as a special keepsake passed down from relatives or found in hidden drawers. While circulated examples remain relatively accessible, high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those housed in original mint sets or graded MS67 and above, are extraordinarily rare. Their combination of historical importance, precious metal content, and condition rarity makes them one of the most coveted items for both investors and collectors. In recent years, prices for top-tier examples have steadily climbed. A certified MS67 1966 round 50 cent coin has reached as high as $3,750 AUD in premium auctions, with the value increasing even more for coins with deep Mirror-proof-like surfaces or exceptional? I appeal. Even lower-grade examples continue to trade. Well above face value due to their silver content alone, this coin stands at the pinnacle of the Australian 50-cent series, not only as the first, not only as the only silver 50 cent ever struck for circulation, but as a piece that embodies the moment. Australia took its first steps into decimal currency. For numismatists, investors, and history lovers alike, the 1966 round 50-cent coin is not just a coin, it's a treasure, and its legacy remains unmatched. If you enjoyed this countdown of valuable Australian 50-cent coins, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe for more rare coin discoveries. Who knows? Your next big find could be sitting in your change jar right now. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.